We're going to talk about some air guns today, and actually one specific air gun. This is a Seneca Eagle Claw.
Welcome to A Sportsman's Life. We're so glad you tuned in to join us for another exciting real-world outdoor adventure right here on A Sportsman's Life. I was fortunate enough to have my brother and his two sons come down from Duluth, Minnesota to join me on our third annual archery Halloween hog hunt. We had an absolutely fantastic time. One thing to remember is to always check to make sure your bow is properly sighted in before your hunt. Here, Rick and the boys are preparing for the hog hunt, and they're making sure that their bows are tuned in. You owe it to the game that you pursue. Okay. Just remember, it's not all about killing an animal. Enjoy the camp camaraderie, build a campfire, tell stories, and just have a great time.
Lighted pins.
Good deal. The hogs come in right there toward dark. You want to make darn sure you don't have battery failure. You got extra batteries, or we need to get some?
I got some.
Good to go. Amanda comes prepared. As you can see, we are shooting high and to the right, so we're going to make adjustments to our bow in order to get this back on so it's sighted in and ready to go for our next hunt. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to move these pins, and you'll always follow the arrow. Just remember that tip, follow the arrow. So what I mean by that is we're going to move this bow over. I'm going to show you here real quick. These are our adjustments here. There's a hex screw there, and there's one right there. So this one here, if we loosen that, we can move this right and left. So in this particular case, since we're shooting to the right, we want to follow the arrow, so we want to loosen this and move this to the right, following the arrow. What that'll do is when you do that, and you just make a minor adjustment and take a couple shots again, you'll see those arrows will move to the left. And it's the same thing here. We want to adjust this one, loosen that, up and down. So since we're shooting up, we're going to raise this up just slightly, make a few shots, and then we're going to see where we end up. So these are where you make your adjustments, follow the arrow, and every time it'll get you sighted in. So I'm going to make a few adjustments here, folks, and we're going to take a few more shots. Let's see how we do. Well, as you can see, we've made some adjustments, and we have definitely moved to the left by moving our sight pin to the right. So as you can see here, I'm still a little to the right of dead center. So I'm going to want to move that pin again. I want to move it right just a little bit, make a few adjustments, and as you can see, I'm still shooting a little high. I need to actually raise that sight up just a little bit, raise those pins up just a little bit to drop my shot to put me into dead center. So a couple more adjustments here, folks, and hopefully we'll be right on target. So stay with me. All right, we are back. We took a few more shots here. And again, the thing you want to look for is making sure that you've got consistent groups. Don't just shoot a single arrow, go back and shoot another single arrow. Shoot 3 at a time. That way you can tell if you're consistently hitting the same spot. As you can see here, we've made a couple of adjustments, and this is where we're shooting now. So we are just maybe, we're shooting 20 yards, folks. We are just maybe an inch or an inch and a half high at 20 yards. So I'm pretty comfortable with that. I might make a minor adjustment and just raise my pin up just a little bit and put me absolutely dead center at 20 yards. So just remember that tip, folks. That is how you want to adjust your bows and make sure they are absolutely dead on, but always shoot 3 arrows and look for consistency. If you've got one hitting the top of the target, one hitting the center, and one hitting way to the right, obviously it's shooter error. You want consistency. Those arrows should be hitting at the same spot every time. Another tip I want to share with you is making sure your bowstring remains soft and pliable. What you want to do is you want to pick up some wax, and you want to make sure you're waxing your bowstrings every 2 or 3 times you hunt. I like to put a little bit wax on there. So just rub a little on, take your fingers, rub it in, go around that string. If you see fraying in your string, it's time to replace your string. So make sure that you're doing that on a consistent basis. A little bit of bowstring wax goes a long way, and it'll save your string. It'll give you a lot more life in your string. Friends, we are here at the Buck and Bass Ranch. I've got my brother Rick and my 2 nephews, Ricky and Rob, and we are actually wrapping up a Halloween hog hunt. This is our I guess our 3rd annual, we'll call it our 3rd annual Halloween hog hunt, and what a good time, huh guys?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Saw plenty of hogs, and got some hogs down, so we're going to show you a few pictures of some hogs here that we've got, and a few deer. We saw some nice deer, and just absolutely gorgeous weather. So you guys they're heading back to Duluth, Minnesota to sleet and snow, I understand, right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
So anyway, any last comments about your time down here for your Halloween hog hunt?
Well, I think we were down here this time last year. We saw a lot of deer moving, a lot of chasing. The rut was on. Probably not as many deer this year, but and certainly not as many hogs. But I think that's just part of hunting.
Well, this time of year, the hogs actually and deer will eat acorns. So acorns are falling like crazy, and as you walk, you kind of crunch on them and under your feet. So that's one of the reasons why you're probably not seeing these hogs go to the feeders quite as much right now. But we're just kind of getting into the rut. Of course, these guys were hog hunting, and I was deer hunting, and I saw a few deer, but just nothing I really wanted to shoot. But heck of a lot of fun, guys. Thank you for coming down, and
yeah, thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Look forward to a hog hunt next year on Halloween. What do you think?
Can't wait here.
I am in.
Get your phone out. Let's get the reservations going. What do you think? All right, folks. We'll be back here on A Sportsman's Life. Brought to you by Dallas Safari Club, Conservation, Education, and Hunter Advocacy. Hornaday, accurate, deadly, dependable. Taurus Firearms, maker of the Raging Hunter.
Hi folks, it's your old buddy Luke Clayton, and welcome to our show. We're going to talk about some air guns today, actually one specific air gun. This is a Seneca Eagle Claw, lever action. I'm excited about this thing. I have had it for about a week, and I sighted it in at 25 yards. I want to do some squirrel, rabbit, and remove some nuisance crows with this little rifle. And the average range that we're going to be shooting it is 25 yards. Now, a little makeshift range out here. This is my cabin, the corner of my cabin behind the house here. And I do a lot of my shooting out here. It's kind of out in the woods. But this thing is, I love it. What I really like, I've always loved the lever gun. You can load up the magazine. I'm going to show you this magazine too that's very impressive. Let me get you a little bit closer to this so you can see it. Some air rifles have magazines that are really tough to work with. This has a hole in it, and it's a positive click. You just put each round and click it one time, and you can load that magazine up. It's really, really easy to work with. So that's one thing I'm impressed with. The chance to have multiple shots with the Seneca is a big plus too. Now, these are Pyramyd Air. Of course, you can get anything and everything that you need for air gunning at Pyramyd Air. But these are available through Pyramyd Air, of course, and other places too. But it's the Seneca, just remember the name, Seneca Eagle Claw. Awesome air rifle. I think what we'll do, I'd like to show you some of we're going to use the Seneca hunting pellets for the crows and the squirrels and the rabbits. Give you a little bit of I'm kind of a one-man show out here, so I'm having to move around a bit. But this is what we're going to be using right here. plenty of punch, but I've got some 48 grain solid Hunter Supply bullets. Stick that up there so you can see it. Now, this gun is not made for hog hunting. I'll state that right now. But I wrote a book on hog hunting. It's one of my passions, hunting wild hogs. I'm going to use this up close to at 25 yards or less and take a good eating hog with it. Now, it's a mid-sized game rifle. I don't want to mislead anybody, but if you're an old hog hunter like me, you just can't resist. I know what this 48 grain bullet's going to do to a hog up close with proper shot placement. But it's a rabbit, squirrel, raccoon, crow, pigeon killer, by golly. So, tell you what I think I'd like to do. I've already shot it in, and 6 shots that are touching at 25 yards. I mean, that shows the accuracy of this little rifle. Well, folks, we have one for the pot back in this brush. I shot him right there on the edge. This little Eagle Claw, I say little, it's a powerful gun. It drilled him. I actually hit him right over here on the side of this little clearing, and he's right in there. But that's going to be one for the pot. We're going to put him, maybe some fried squirrel or possibly some squirrel dumplings. But that's one of many that we're going to go after. We've got, these squirrels are moving right now. So let me go get this one.
Okay.
And bring him in.
Nice shot.
Thank you, but man, this thing hammered him, didn't it?
Yeah, let's go get him.
All right, let's see where he's at. Oh yeah.
Oh, that's a
nice
dandy.
Fat gray squirrel, a young one. This will be one that will be good in the frying pan right here. The Eagle Claw. I've got a new squirrel rifle here, folks. This is a young squirrel too. This thing will be super good fried in a cast iron skillet. So I say that we've still got, I've shot this thing twice, once in practice and once on it. We've got almost a full charge. So let's head back in here and see what we can find.
Absolutely. Well done. All right.
Pretty squirrel,
Absolutely.
pretty squirrel rifle right here too. I
You
love
bet.
this little Eagle Claw. Yeah, that's a young one. You can tell by the size of him, you know.
Yep.
Young
Let's go get a
squirrel.
couple more of those bad boys, huh?
Yeah, we're going to need about, let's see, probably 5 of these to create a good meal for us.
Well, we've seen plenty, so.
Oh yeah. And folks, really, if you look at especially this is a gray squirrel. We call them cat squirrels here in East Texas. They're not. Look at the head on that thing. They're small animals. So precise bullet placement, especially with any rifle. But folks, look at the size, how small these gray squirrels are. I mean, precise bullet placement. I used to hunt these with a shotgun when I was a kid, you know. So you've got to have a gun that's a tack driver. And this Eagle Claw, Seneca Eagle Claw by Air Ventura. Get you one, folks. You're gonna like it. It's quiet. You get a bunch of squirrels with it.
Sportsman's Life is also brought to you by Air Force Air Guns, B&B Charcoal, Pyramid Air, Sightmark, Snap Block Hunting Blinds, Smoke and Tex Electric Smokers, Striper Express, and TRHP Outdoors.
One of the things I really enjoy is hunting around old homesteads. Old homesteads, a lot of times people had a smokehouse. And in that smokehouse, they cured their meats with salt, primarily pepper, and to some extent, some other chemicals occasionally. And a lot of times, if you can find those places like that, it's a favorite place of whitetail deer because of the fact that it also serves as a good mineral lick. Got my daughter this morning, Teresa, who is going to show us a little bit about horn rattling. And one of the things that we do whenever I go out horn rattling, one of the things I learned a long time ago is that bucks have a tendency to approach downwind. One of the things that I always use is the Hunter's Creed or a dominant buck type lure from Texas Hunting Ranch product or doe and estrus kind of scent, and I put it up downwind because those old mature bucks have a tendency to come in downwind regardless. Now, Teresa will have already sprayed down with Scent Guard, and obviously it looks like some of the bees like our lure as well too. But what she's going to do is put it out, and we're going to show what we do and we set up. We've got the wind blowing directly from where we started, where she left her gun, to right here. Now, any buck that comes in, he's going to come in downwind. That's just a natural way that whitetail bucks approach with horn rattling. They'll may circle, so we're going to talk about that in a little bit, but we're going to put out the Texas Race Hunting Product lure right here so that when the buck comes into the sound of those rattling antlers, he's also going to be smelling something that's going to keep his interest for a little bit. Got an ideal place here to set up in that we've got good natural backdrop. But the one thing you want to do is, this will help you, if you notice, I'll show you here in just a little bit, she is sitting with her back against the tree. Now, one of the things that you want to do is, as I told you, that bucks have a tendency to come in downwind. They'll circle downwind until they get directly downwind of the sound. So one of the things you want to do is always make certain that you've got a shooting alley, a shooting lane to the left, dead center downwind, and then also over to the right. Because those bucks, regardless which way they're going to come, they're going to try to go downwind, particularly those older mature bucks, and that's what we're looking for right now. We've got the scent out, we've got the rattling horns, we've got the wind at her back, and got shooting lanes to the left and to the right. In this instance, Teresa's using a 375 Ruger with Hornady ammo and a Trijicon AccuPoint. Now, if you'll notice, she's got her scope cranked down to the bare minimum, essentially. It's down to 2.5 to 3. Now, with that, that's going to give you the opportunity to have a lot greater field of view. We're hunting fairly close in. The bucks respond. They're going to probably be within 25 to 30 yards. She can get on them very quickly with that Trijicon scope, with that little tritium point that's in the center of where the reticle intersects is going to help her get on target real quickly as well too. But when you're rattling, turn your scope down as far as you can get it. You can always crank it up when you start moving elsewhere. Make sure you got shooting lanes to your left and to your right directly downwind. We've got the Texas Race Hunting Products out. She's covered up with Scent Guardian, so she really doesn't have to pay attention to the wind, but it's just a natural thing of the deer to come downwind. So one of the reasons you spray down really well to begin with Scent Guardian, but then also the reason we're putting out the buck lure that we've got downwind of us. I want those bucks when they come in not only to hear the sound, but I want them to be able to smell something that keeps their attention for just a little bit, and maybe they'll stay around a little bit longer so I can evaluate them that much better.
We want to thank you for joining us here on this week's episode. Please join us right back here next week for another exciting adventure on A Sportsman's Life.